What's the ultimate endgame is a question that people ask all the time. Let's give this some thought. Right now, Bitcoin is like digital gold. 6T, which is 5x what we have in the bank, getting 5 times as much money from this bank. You can tell me about it. That's about $400 K. Simple. I mean really simple. A number of spot Bitcoin ETF producers, such as Cathie Wood of ARK Invest and Matt Hogan of Bitwise, have talked about how wirehouses are about to approve spot Bitcoin ETFs. Cathie and Matt both said this is the next wave of money coming in from ETFs, which they think will be bigger than anything else we've seen so far. This all-at-once event will be the next big thing for spot Bitcoin ETFs and the cryptocurrency that they are based on, because it will let tens of thousands of buyers who can't buy the ETFs now. Mark Yusko of Morgan Creek Capital recently talked to CryptoBlood about Bitcoin ETFs, the bull market, and when he thinks this cycle will reach its peak. I never really thought that the ETF was for. You mean the big organizations, right? They might use it, but for me, the ETF is a retail offering. It is, in fact, for individual investors. And it wasn't really for people who use Robinhood, trade joke coins, or trade during the day. Again, it was for a boomer wrapper. Because a lot of boomers have given their money to financial advisors, this is for them. The financial planner also works for a big company like UBS, Merrill Lynch, or another one. And that dollar amount is around 30 trillion. A lot. I kept telling them that as soon as the ETF was passed, at the very least 10 basis points would be added right away. In other words, that's $30 billion. So far, we've had about half of that. That's pretty cool then. Now, 10 basis points won't stay, because Fidelity already said 1% to 3% for their type of ETF fund that invests in other ETFs. They said 1 through 3. I believe that all of these other places will agree that 1% is a good number. That helps spread the risk. As it turns out, 1% of 30 trillion is 300 billion. That's more money than has ever been put into Bitcoin. Take a moment to think about that. $300 billion is more money than has ever been turned into Bitcoin. It is true that Bitcoin's market value is $1.33 trillion right now. Some $1.3 trillion did not go in, though. Not even a small part of that much money, somewhere around $200 billion. And the rest is Thanksgiving. What goes to the fair value goes up, because that's what happens when something is cut in half. Because the price needs to change to help the miners, the fair value goes up. The fair value probably won't go up as much this cycle as it did in the past because of the pre-halving event of the ETF, which brought the price closer to fair value. This means that most miners are doing well right now. However, I think the fair value will go up to about $75,000 if you will. Then, in a regular cycle, the leverage comes in and makes that 2.3 or 2.4 times bigger. Binance got rid of CZ, so there isn't as much power now. They also got rid of some of the old bad guys like the stressed lenders. Let's say this time we only go up 2 times fair value, we get to about 150. Okay, then what takes place? The short sellers then come in when the price is so much higher than its real value, and some people say, okay, that's good enough for me, take a little. I don't think the cycles are over yet. This number doesn't seem to be going up in a straight line. I believe there will be highs and lows, and our highs and lows will keep going up for a while. That's known as buildup. In other words, it will add up over the next year or so. Then there will be sharing when the price gets too high. The smart money, or people who bought early, or some of the whales will spread the wealth to everyone else. Then they buy it back when it goes down. Mark has talked a long time before He thinks the next bear market will start in late 2025. For now, it is still very early in the cycle. The only reason it doesn't feel that way is that the ETFs briefly messed up a normal Bitcoin bull market and halving year. This is the first year since the split that Bitcoin hit a new all-time high before the event. That always happened after the halves in earlier cycles. Plus, there will likely be even more problems in the months to come. Let's go back to Mark's talk. He talks about signs that this might be Bitcoin's last big bull run this time. Like multiples. Is it the last big rise? Almost. And really the change from 0.003 cents to $1 was amazing. That's what Bitcoin did so great. Did it make it through the science experiment part of starting up? Getting to $1 was a big deal. Then going from $1 to $10, that's really cool. 10 times as much money. Then it dropped 80%. After that, it went up from $2 to $300. 150 times, my God. After that, it went down to about 186. It then reached 1,000. It went back down to 200 after that. It went up to 20,000. It went back to 3,000 after that. It's much harder to go from $1,000 to $20,000 than it is to go from $1,000 to $20,000. So it will take a lot longer to go from 68,000 to 10 times that amount. Look, a lot of people always ask, what's the ultimate end game? Let's give this some thought. Right now, Bitcoin is like digital gold. Make sure you say it's digital property. Michael Saylor wants you to. In the end, I think that's true, right? Today it's gold in digital form. What is gold? Gold is cash. Cash is an object that doesn't have a debt attached to it. This is where people go wrong. They say that gold is worth $12 trillion on the market as a whole. The market value of stocks is going to go up 10 times from here. That other half of the gold doesn't matter. Back there at Notre Dame, it's jewelry, chalices, and gold leaf on the Golden Dome. No, 6 trillion won is 5 times your money in this bank. You can, just tell me. Okay, that's about 400K. Simple. I mean, really simple. Okay, besides digital property, which is now digital property, real estate is a $86 trillion asset class around the world. Could Bitcoin be a better way to own property? Like, give it some thought. What was the American dream after World War II? Each person buys a house with a white picket fence. We get a debt and make a lot of money. When you got home from the war, you paid $5,000 for a house in California. These days, it's millions of dollars. Beautiful. Okay, what is that? That's just going down in value. The house didn't get bigger. The house didn't go from having 2 bedrooms to having 20 bedrooms. It is still a 2-bedroom house in the middle of a bad area. Things may have gotten worse over the past 50 years, but they didn't get better either. The money got worse. Okay, it will go up if you put money into Bitcoin today and the value of the money keeps going down. That's why I always say 1 Bitcoin is 1 Bitcoin will always be 1 Bitcoin. That 2-bedroom house will be it. People today, on the other hand, feel like they can't afford to buy a house, but they can own Bitcoin. That's all the important crypto news for today. Watch out for more news, thoughts, and opinions from the cryptocurrency world. Tell us what you think in the space below. Please like this movie and subscribe to our channel to see more fun videos.